So, good morning, everybody. I'm Dipanjan Ghosh. Today, I want to take a class of human endocrine system. So, in my previous class, already I had discussed about different cortical hormone, glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex steroids. Today, I want to discuss about gonads. That is about reproductive gland. And we know in case of human and the reproductive gland we differ from male to female. In case of male, it is testis, whereas in case of female, it is ovary. And basically, hormones secreted from the interstitial cells of egg of testes, basically testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, and androstenedione. Within them, testosterone is the main principal enzyme, a principal hormone of in case of male. And if we go to the functions of testosterone, then we see it regulates the development of sex organ. Different secondary sexual characters is actually expressed by that particular hormone. And we know basically it will helps us for the uh, it will helps us for to the protein metabolisms as well as BMR. It will increase the BMR rate, and we know it will maintain the electrolysis, and some water balance functions is actually done by it. And it will act on to some extent on erythropoietin, and as a result it will does it acts on blood cell. So, and we know basically it accelerates the calcium absorption resorption part during the adolescence period. So there are different types of functions basically found observed due to effect on testosterone. Now I come to the aspect of ovary, and basically it is situated to the pelvic cavity of female, uh, just to the just to the uterus, near the uterus. And we know basically it secretes different hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, and reaction. And basically we know basically estrogens are of three types: estradiol, estrone, and estriol. And if we go to the functions of estrogen, then we see basically it changed that particular hormone. Estrogen changed the uh, uterus. Basically we know in the endometrium different changes have been found due to the functions of estrogen. And it helps to the development of mammary gland, and it will change the pelvic cavity, and it will increase the um, uh, uh, increase the protein synthesis process, as well as the menstruation. It has some role on menstruation cycle. And we know basically estrogen inhibits the FSH secretions and stimulate the ACTH secretions from pituitary. And if we now I come to the aspect of progesterone, and we know basically progesterone is actually secreted from the corpus luteum of ovary, and to some extent it is secreted from adrenal cortex and placenta also. And it has lots of functions. Basically we know it accelerates it develops the mammary gland. It helps protein metabolisms, uh, and the during menstruations, we know basically it has some roles. Yeah, it will enhance the functions of endometrium. And we know basically reactions is another hormone which is secreted from ovary, and sometimes it is secreted from placenta. And we know basically during parturition, during the time of pregnancy, it has some role, and it will haste to the alterations of uterus by contractions of the uterine muscle. And it has some functions on menstrual cycle. And if we make a difference between androgen, estrogen, and progesterone, then we can find out androgen is a male hormone, whereas estrogen is a female hormone, and progesterone is also a female hormone. And androgen is secreted, that is, androgen means testosterone is secreted from the egg cells, interstitial cells of egg, whereas estrogen is secreted from the mature Graafian follicle, and progesterone is secreted from the corpus luteum. And the main functions of androgen, that is testosterone, is to the growth of the secondary growth of the sex organ, as well as different secondary sexual character is also expressed by the activity of androgen. Simultaneously, in case of female, the same functions is actually occur. In case of females, estrogen is mainly responsible for the expressions of secondary sexual character. And we know basically during pregnancy and basically progesterone will do different functions, and it will helps for the development of fetus. And we know basically after the fertilization process and 3 to 4 days later, basically the embryo, that is the blastocyst, which is called blastocyst, that is actually implanted to the uterus. And whenever that blastocyst is actually come to the endometrium layer, in contact of endometrium layer, then it will form the syncytiotrophoblasts and cytotrophoblasts. And we know basically then ultimately the implantation process is actually proceed. And endocrine, there are different endocrine functions of placenta, and if we discuss about the different endocrine functions, we know there are different hormones secreted from placenta, basically progesterone, estrogen, human chorionic gonadotropin (HCG), and human chorionic somatomammotropic, reaxin, and renin. So basically during pregnancy, at the very beginning, we know basically corpus luteum secretes progesterone in a very normal amount, but to the yet phase of pregnancy, placenta secretes very much amount of, that is, a large quantity of progesterone is actually secreted from here. And it will maintain the contractility of the uterus, and we know basically it will increase the capability of uterus and helps to the placentation process. And estrogen is basically we know basically just like Graafian follicle, estrogen is actually secreted from placenta, and it has different functions. It will enlarge the size of, that is, the volume of mammary gland, uterus. So, and we come to the aspect of human chorionic gonadotropin. It is actually secreted from the chorionic villi of placenta, and that particular hormone is glycoprotein in nature, and it will do the similar functions of luteinizing hormone. And whenever the implantation process is actually performed, then the presence of HCG is actually, that is, the presence of HCG is actually found whenever the implantation process is actually occur. And we know there are different major functions of HCG. HCG secretes in very much amount of estrogen and progesterone from corpus luteum. And that particular hormone, we know during pregnancy the menstruation process is actually stopped due to an effect of that HCG. Basically by the functions of HCG, the menstruation process is actually stopped due to the effect of estrogen and progesterone, and it will help for the storage of nutrients to the endometrium. And we know due to effect of HCG, the corpus luteum, the size become enlarged. That is, the progression of corpus luteum occurs, and we know basically it also helps to the testosterone to the interstitiae say to secrete more amount of testosterone. And now I come to the aspect of another important hormone which is secreted from placenta, that is the human chorionic somatotropin. And we know basically it behaves for the lactation process, and we know it will reduce the utilization of glucose and minimize the insulin sensitivity, and we know basically it helps to the growth of mammary gland, and it stimulates the mammary gland to secrete milk. And reaction is another hormone we know, basically secreted from placenta, and basically it helps for the relaxations of uterus. So basically it helps for the relaxations of uterus. And placenta also secretes, besides it placenta also secrete renin, and that hormone is basically responsible for the different functions during pregnancy conditions. And besides it, we know different gastrointestinal hormones which is associated with endocrine system. They are gastrin secretin, cholecystokinin, pancreazymin, cholecystokinin, enterogastron. So I have discussed it whenever I have discussed it to the digestive system. There I have discussed it in a very broad spectrum. And I want to discuss another hormone which is associated with it, that is prostaglandin. We know basically it is a prostaglandin is a C20 fatty acid, unsaturated C20 fatty acid compound, and it contains a large long chain, um, and it has a major functions. It is found in to the body, and basically it reduce the blood pressure. And basically we know basically the source of that prostaglandin: prostate, seminal vesicle, thyroid, salivary gland, and alimentary canal, pancreas, kidney, adrenal medulla, CSF, brain, vagus nerve. And we know basically in same membrane we found a phospholipid, that is C20 carbonic unsaturated fatty acid, arachidonic acid. From that arachidonic acid, basically that prostaglandin is actually originated, and it is found to the phases what I have mentioned very few time ago, that is prostate, seminal vesicle, thyroid, salivary gland, CSF. We have found it, but it is originated uh, from a phospholipid C20 carbon containing unsaturated uh, fatty acid, arachidonic acid, from where it is actually secreted, and from which by the pathway cyclooxygenase the prostaglandin is actually originated. And beginning von Euler in 1937 first discovered that yokai hormone named prostaglandin. And basically if we go to the functions of prostaglandin, then we can see it will decrease the it is actually decrease the blood pressures to the renal tubule by the expansions of renal tubule, which is done by PGA. It inhibits the hydrochloric acid secretions from stomach. It helps to the transport of sperm. It helps to the parturition process, and in central nervous system, it helps some nervous functions. And we know the adenine cyclase, that is the second messenger system. It inhibits the functions of adenine cyclase. So prostaglandin, which is originated from arachidonic acid, uh, and basically do the functions to different portions of the body. And we know it has lots of functions to inhibit the functions of hydrochloric acid, to reduce the blood pressure, transportations of sperm. So different functions is actually done by the HAPOP, and the activity of second messenger system is actually adenine cyclase activity is actually inhibited by the HAPOP. prostaglandin. And we know another thymus gland, another gland basically, and it is present near the, basically trachea, near the trachea. And if we go to that, to the histological structure of that thymus gland, then it contains the outer, this is the cortex part, and contain the medullary part. And basically a hormone, and we know basically Haze's corpuscles is actually found here, and a specific type of hormone, that is thymosin or thymine. That particular hormone is actually secreted from thymus gland. And if there are different functions of thymus, basically we know whenever a person's an individual, we transit, we go from to the adolescence period, then different sexual growth, different secondary sexual growth is actually done by thymus, and it helps for the productions of lymph and lymphocyte cell. And we know basically thymus, the secondary, we know which is called um, the thymus is actually helps for the generations of T lymphocyte, um, and we know it helps for the restorations of different minerals, and it inhibits the secretions of acetylcholine. As a result, the muscle activity become weak by the help of thymus. So basically, it has the crucial functions to the immune system. Though it do not generate the antibody directly, but it helps to the productions of T lymphocyte, and by the help of B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte interactions, we know basically it will provide some immune functions. So this is all about human endocrine systems, which I have discussed from the very beginning level. Uh, Thank you.